Hello there. What is going on, everyone? Let's talk about Vader Down. If you guys aren't familiar, this was a very popular comic book from early in the Marvel Star Wars comic book series. This one featured Darth Vader crashing his TIE Advanced and being surrounded very quickly by rebels, or as he called it, being surrounded by fear and dead men. This led to AMG announcing that they wanted to do a Vader Down scenario right after they acquired the games Star Wars Legion, Star Wars X-Wing, and Star Wars Armada. They were talking about Legion as this being the very first announcement of something that they were that they wanted to do. Not that they were actually doing yet. It was not an announcement that it was coming. It was just something that they wanted to do. Now, this was years ago, and the comic is even older than that. Very cool comic series where Darth Vader fights his way through an entire rebel, I guess, brigade, very large rebel force. He was actually brought down by Luke Skywalker, who actually collided with him in his X-Wing to Vader's TIE Advanced. So it was a kind of a weird thing where he didn't actually get shot down, but somebody kind of pulled a holdo maneuver on him, so to speak. Not exactly, but yeah, it was kind of a sloppy, happy accident that sort of involved him being surrounded momentarily. Very cool comic series, limited run comic series that came out sort of after the first maybe 9 or 10 issues of the first Darth Vader series after Disney had acquired the Lucasfilm license and started making comic books and all of that. So fast forward to Star Wars Legion, where is this scenario? I feel like it has been long enough since it was talked about that perhaps it's not coming. Perhaps it might still someday. And so I have gone ahead and created my own version of what I would envision Vader Down to be for Star Wars Legion. And I'm happy to announce that it is available right now for free for all of you. You guys can check it out over on Crabbok.com. I'm going to talk about it a little bit first. This is not the first free Star Wars Legion content that I've created. I also created a Palpatine expansion as well as a Star Wars Legion AI system and lots of other good stuff. And again, I'll put links in the video description so you can check all of that out. But before we get into it, I want to thank today's sponsor, Luxury Playstyle. Amazing tokens, guys. Head over to luxuryplaystyle.com. Check out these tokens. You're going to love them. They are double-sided. They're gorgeous. There's order tokens. There's combat tokens. We got damage, double-sided with 2s on the back. And you're going to need a lot of damage for Vader, by the way, because he has a very high hit point total. He's not going to be super easy to bring down. These are all double-sided. If you use code Crabbok VIP, you're going to save 15% off of your order. Orders that use that code while supplies last are going to get a free Crabbok token thrown in. So really cool token, folks. It's got lightsaber nunchucks on it. You're gonna love it. So spend $35 or more. Use that code. You're gonna save 15%. You're also gonna get a free token. But they have amazing tokens. They also have tokens for other games too, X-Wing, Magic the Gathering, and more. Check them out. Head over to luxuryplaystyle.com. Don't forget to use that code. All right, so without further ado, let's take a look really quick at this 800-point Darth Vader Ultimate Encounter. So, this is my second version of an Ultimate character. He is your whole army. He is an 800-point character. He is a commander, but he has the special rule. He's got a lot of special rules. He's got 30 health. Which is not that much if you consider the entire Rebel force is going to be shooting at him every turn. Now, of course, you don't have to bring him up against Rebels. There's a lot of different ways that you can play him. I imagine you can easily come up with a scenario where you just deploy him in the middle of the battlefield and deploy everybody else all the way around him at distance one of the sides. Sort of like Battle Line, but in more of a completely encompassing the battlefield scenario. Have him completely surrounded. I feel like that is one option. You can also do this a 3-player game with Darth Vader where he's in the middle and you use something like battle lines or any kind of appropriate, any kind of symmetrical deployment where the one player is in the blue deployment area and another player is in the red deployment area, and they're both working together to defeat Darth Vader. Maybe 400 points a person or something like that. a lot of different options and different ways that you can play this. Or you can just use him in a standard game with the idea that, he's not going to be able to get objectives very well. So I think you're probably better off doing a custom deployment where your opponent has to kill Vader. I mean, if you're playing Vader Down, the rebels wanted to kill Darth Vader, and that is exactly what he is designed to try and stop. One of the things that you'll notice is he does not have any upgrades. He does not have the ability to take saber throw. He does not have saber throw on here. This was a conscious decision, and the idea here is that he needs that lightsaber for defense. He cannot afford to throw it in this format because he's got so many people shooting at him constantly. He would be undefended if he was, taking his best defensive weapon against blaster fire and throwing it away from him. So he's opting not to use saber throw in this one. And of course, with no upgrades, everything's kind of built into him, but he has other things that are similar in that. He's not without any ranged potential. So I'll start at the top. He's an ultimate character. You do not use command cards or issue orders. Instead, you activate an ultimate character every time your opponent ends an activation. So basically, every time your opponent activates a rebel, you then activate Darth Vader. And you will continue to do that for every activation they have, which means he's going to go a lot of times. He'll probably be going 8 or more times per turn. And of course, that action will slow down a little bit once he does start killing people, and he will be killing people. He has crashed TIE wreckage, a little thematic for the Vader Down scenario. He is in this situation because his TIE fighter crashed. You're going to represent that by using 4 barricades. After deployment is complete, you may deploy up to 4 barricades within distance 1 to 2 of Darth Vader. So he is going to be surrounded by barricades, and that works out well because he's going to need cover if he's going to be getting a lot of shots, especially on the first round, potentially. He also has the hurl debris action that he can do. He can move a barricade at range 1 to within range 1 and height 1 of its current position, very similar to force lift, but it's a little more complicated than that, which is why it is its own ability. If this puts the barricade in contact with an enemy base, the unit rolls 2 red defense dice and suffers wounds equal to the number of blocks showing. So basically, he is throwing barricades at people. They're throwing the debris of his TIE Advanced at people and causing them damage. And by the way, it's any unit, so he can throw it at tanks too. Again, if Darth Vader is hurling TIE fighter wreckage at a tank, he's probably going to do some damage to it. They don't really get to defend against this, and because it's big debris, and Darth Vader is known for throwing things with the Force at people, and this is a great way to represent that. It also does allow him to move some of those barricades with him to provide mobile cover as he moves to close the gap between his attackers and himself. I did say that he was not without ranged attacks. While the hurl debris is certainly a type of ranged offense, it's not an attack. He has Force Rip, which is a range 1 to 3 ability. It's similar to Force Push, but I call it Force Rip because it says choose an enemy trooper at range 1 to 3, perform a speed 1 move with that unit, even if it is engaged. Very much like Force Push, but it's at range 1 to 3. And considering that you'll activate after every enemy activation, you can pull people close to you, kicking and screaming the whole way, and it won't really matter that you don't have range because you can just bring them to you from pretty far away, distance 1 to 3. He has Dark Side Rage. It says after this unit suffers 3 or more damage from an attack, gain an aim and a dodge token. So if you plink away at him, it might not kill him before the game ends. So you got to do the big attacks. But when you do the big attacks, he powers up. He gets a little angry. And of course, he's speed 1, so he's still slow. But he does have charge, doesn't have relentless, since there was no real reason to give him relentless since he doesn't have a ranged attack. But yeah, so if he can get an aim for free, that's going to be very, very useful considering he is, I kept him kind of true to the basic of, he doesn't have any offensive or defensive surge. He does have deflect in there, and he has charge, and he's also immune to pierce. So he can still get defensive surge when he is spending dodge tokens, and he'll also get those for free if he does get hit pretty hard. So he'll be deflecting presumably quite a bit. I imagine on your first activation or your very early activations, you'll want to dodge a decent amount. He also has Vader's Conviction, which I think is one of the coolest abilities and is sort of mirroring a little bit of one of the forms of Vader we saw in Star Wars Shatterpoint. It says, after this unit attacks, if you dealt damage but did not defeat at least one miniature, you may gain a standby token. And the idea here is that if he goes in and he attacks somebody and doesn't kill them, this is usually going to be a tougher unit, he can gain a standby token. So he can basically keep swinging and swinging until he kills someone, which is very, very dangerous. If he's able to catch up to you, he's probably going to kill you. And since he is fearless, good luck getting that standby off of him. So, but if he completely whiffs, if he does no damage, then that will go away. It is possible for him to just fail for a moment. So if he whiffs the roll, or if your opponent is immune to pierce, or if your opponent is impervious and manages to ignore that pierce 3, that will kind of temporarily stop that Vader's Conviction until his next activation. Of course, you don't have to worry about the chaining of standby tokens because, again, he's activating after every activation. So at most, he's going to get that one extra attack, and then he's got to take his action on his turn, which then will, of course, he will lose the standby token. If you attack, again, if you're already engaged, you're probably going to attack, you're going to lose that standby token. But it still kind of replicates the fact that he will get his prey. And so if you've got like an enemy Luke Skywalker or something, you might not want to engage right away until Vader's kind of softened up, because once they part, they're not leaving ways, and with both people still standing. Unless of course you're a very unless he maybe moved and completely whiffed, and then you might be lucky enough to get away. But this is an angry, enraged Darth Vader. Now, 30 health is a lot, but it's going to probably go down pretty quickly. He is certain to be really fun, and considering that you can combo him with that AI system we have over on Crabbok.com, that's a fantastic opportunity for you to check him out against an AI army of your choice and see how well they perform. I imagine that close-range units will die very, very quickly to Darth Vader, while at longer-ranged units like snipers will do better. But if they have to kill Darth Vader to win, they might not be able to snipe for too long, because he could easily just take cover. You kind of have to seek him out. Again, this was the Rebels' time to have him surrounded. They can't play chicken and just hide and snipe. They have to be aggressive. So it's this kind of standoff. I want my units to be safe, but I also have to be aggressive and go after him. If he ducks behind a building, and waits for Imperial reinforcements to come pick him up, then the Rebels will have lost their only chance to kill Darth Vader. And that is Vader Down. The ultimate encounter, Sith Lord Vader Down, hates sand subtypes for this Darth Vader. I would love to hear what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments. We are still doing giveaways. We're going to be doing 12 Days of Life Day, so you just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos if you want to have a chance to enter one of the 12 giveaways we'll be doing in December. And if you're over at Crabbok.com to check this out, you can also check out the Emperor Palpatine Ultimate Encounter. The Master of the Sith, the Senate Sheev, is also an ultimate encounter. Works the same way, but has very, very different rules. You can check those out while you're there. He has a lot less health, but he does have that surge for defense, and also has like a death save ability too, which he can do. So he's got some cool stuff. I'm not going to talk too much about this guy, but you should also check him out if you want. Although Ultimate Emperor Palpatine versus Ultimate Darth Vader would be really weird. I don't know. I don't know if I haven't tested one ultimate encounter versus another ultimate encounter, because they're kind of meant to go up against the whole army. But I'd love to hear what you guys think. Let me know. That's Vader, and in my Vader Down attempt to kind of replicate a little bit of the theme, the scenario, and that fun way to play the game a little differently. I'd love to hear some of your thoughts. Let me know down in the comments section below. And maybe share this with your friends. Again, it is out there. It's on Crabbok.com. It is free. You can check it out. I'm not charging anything for this. I like to just do stuff like this for you guys. It's my way of giving back because you guys have been awesome. I am just around the corner from 10 years of making Star Wars YouTube videos. Next February, it's going to be 10 years. So, I mean, we're almost there. It's really, really cool. And I wouldn't have gotten this far without you guys and the tremendous support we've been getting. It's absolutely awesome. So I want to thank you guys. And another group I'd really like to thank is my patrons. If you guys are, if you guys are watching, you're amazing. And thank you so much for your continued support. If you're interested in getting your name in the credits and getting access to some perks, there's links to Patreon down below. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will talk to you later. May the Force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes. Always wash your socks and have a fantastic day.